here's what we're talking about with new managers from this offseason. And it starts with Dusty Baker, who was the star of Thursday's show for the Houston Astros. Joe Girardi's on this list, Kapler, Joe Maddon. So there's some veteran managers. There's some new ones, too, like Derek Shelton for the first time. He's with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Jace Tingler with the San Diego Padres. So you have that mix, and you also have the fact that there is just significant turnover in the manager department on a yearly basis, Jason. But let's play it this way. Your favorite manager signing of the offseason is?
I think the most impactful signing is Joe Girardi to Philadelphia. You know, it's funny, if you look at just the expected one loss, it would tell you that Gabe Kapler actually did a better job there than people think. But I just like the fit of Joe because that team needed structure. Joe certainly gives you that. It needed a firmer hand, and Joe will be in charge, right? I just think the fit of Joe Girardi to what they're trying to do is perfect.
Schroeder, who's your favorite?
Look, I love Joe Maddon. The world loves Joe Maddon. My favorite pick is Luis Rojas. I think that he's walking into a situation where he was comfortable, where they were comfortable with him and almost hiring him. And so whatever philosophy the Mets are going to implement going forward, he's not only familiar with it, he's part of that system. I think he's going to be a great fit.
Yeah, I think that's a great call because we're talking a lot about Dusty Baker and managing the PR there in Houston after what's gone on. But in New York, too, I mean, Carlos Beltran was their manager for most of the winter. So
yes.
He takes over. You keep someone in-house, which should help for the continuity. What about you, John?
Yeah, I like that pick as well. I sort of am playing my own game here. Dusty Baker, I thought was the perfect hire for Houston. I mean, it's hard to, with all the things they have going on. I think that is the impactful hire. However, I agree with Jason. I think Joe Girardi, at the end is right for Philadelphia. He fits Philadelphia. I think the fans are going to rally to a guy like this. I think the club needs, as Jason said, structure. But I'm also going to pick an American League guy, and I'm going to go Joe Maddon. Because, again, you're sitting down there in Anaheim. L.A., the Dodgers get all the ink, all the pub, everything going on. Joe Maddon's a perfect fit. He's going to, obviously they did a few things. I think that, the Angels are going to be more relevant with Joe Maddon managing that club. So, I mean, my own game. I got Dusty Baker, I've got Joe Girardi, and I've got Joe Maddon.
You've got good options. Yeah. And here's the most wins among active managers, right?
Really, I like Rojas, too.
Are we gonna allow him to make 4 picks? To make 1.
I'll tell you why, because it's Friday, and we're feeling good. But, hey, great stats, which you always love. For example, 11 managers from 2017 are still holding their job.
That's it.
In 2020.
There are 30 teams. There's only 11 managers left from 2017. Think of the turnover in this job. Just looking at this today, there's only 3 managers left who have spent the last 5 full seasons with their current team. 3 out of 30 teams. I don't know exactly what this says about the industry, but I would say rent, don't buy.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to our former front office man. I mean, hey, managers that hear that or future managers that hear that go, I better take advantage quickly while I have the job because it might not last long.
Yeah, the old adage of you're hired to be fired is in full force right now. I think managers expect it, but, we've got a different sort of a breed going on. You've got a different type of a front office. Depending on, how much information is filtered back and forth, what kind of players you get. I was always told, because I came up through the field, and when I crossed over, Hank Peters told me, he said, look, as a manager, you don't have any control over your own destiny. You are at the mercy of what the GM gets you. He said, as a general manager, you have all the cards. You can hire the manager, you can make your changes, you can do your draft, you can make your trade. And he said, it's a much easier way to go. It's a much more of a baseball job with much more security. And ultimately, as to Jason's point, we have 3 in the last 5 years that are
three managers
that
have
have
been in
remained.
their current team for 5 seasons.
Yeah, I never grew up that way. I was always, as a GM, I very seldom made changes in almost 20 years. It's hard to understand. The continuity, I think, is important. There's a lot of issues, but it's the way the game is now. And Jason said it, rent, don't buy.
And the names, by the way, are Terry Francona, Bob Melvin, and Kevin Cash.
Right.
That's it. You chose the right route, by the way, to go the front office route. That was
It's going
good
to be my
advice.
trivia question.
Oh, there you go.